lot of political action continues. We just had DK Shivakumar speaking to the media, confirming that he hasn't received any invite, any summon from the High Command. What does that mean? It means essentially that the High Command is yet to take a pick, yet to meet with Siddaramaiah or DK Shivakumar. So the delay continues. Is there a possibility, Naga, that in the next few days we will be seeing DK Shivakumar headed to Delhi? We were hearing 29th is the date. That's absolutely true. Even I'm picking up from my sources that 29th might be a crucial day because Sonia Gandhi also returns to India. She's out of India is what we are told for a personal trip. And DK Shivakumar also had hinted at that he has sought permission to meet Sonia Gandhi on 29th in Delhi. But you never know, considering there's a meeting between Mallikarjun Kharge as well as Rahul Gandhi in the pretext of Bihar elections. There are all likely chances that these two leaders might bring up the topic of Karnataka. Mallikarjun Kharge might tell Rahul Gandhi, this is what's happening. We have to address this ASAP, and most likely they two together will reach a conclusion on 29th or 30th to summon these two leaders. In fact, just few minutes back, I spoke to the Chief Minister's office as well as the Deputy Chief Minister's office. Both have got no phone calls till now. While Mallikarjun Kharge departed from Bengaluru this morning, he said, very soon we will summon both the leaders to have a conversation, to have the discussion in Delhi and put an end to this whole chaos or the crisis that has unfolded over the last fortnight here. So all eyes on this crucial meeting that is happening in Delhi, but most likely by the end of this month, over the weekend, we will have some clue as to when these two leaders will be flying to Delhi. Okay, so let's see what happens in the coming few days, whether we will finally have clarity or whether this will drag on as it has for the last 1 week or so. Now, like I promised at the start of the show, Naga and I aren't the only ones here at the Vidhan Sauda. We've got our entire team here at the Vidhan Sauda. I've flown down from Delhi. Nobody else has bothered to do so because we're teleporting everyone else from the national capital, from our Noida studios, right here to outside the Vidhan Sauda. To your right, Nagarjun, is actually Preeti. To my left is Rajdeep and Maria. None of them seem to have got the memo that it's not that cold in Bengaluru,
That's
guys.
absolutely true. And all of them are wearing jackets. and you should have ideally, guys, flown
Naga,
to Bengaluru and had the best filter coffee and also the best weather.
Okay, Preeti is at least okay. Rajdeep sir and Maria dressed like it's winter in Bengaluru. It's beautiful in Bengaluru.
You've got to invite us there. We can go to Vidyarthi Bhavan, have dosa and coffee. Always ready for that. More sure of that than what is happening in Karnataka's Game of Thrones.
But Vidhan Sauda, where you are, it's actually one of the most iconic buildings. Perhaps one of the rarest that we have seen across India when it comes to the assembly. So it's a beautiful structure, and that perhaps symbolizes the state much better than any other structure.
In fact, I want to ask Rajdeep Sardesai that he said he'll go to Vidyarthi Bhavan. Rajdeep, would you go with Siddaramaiah or DK Shivakumar to have a cup of coffee and dosa?
No, Siddaramaiah ji is the one who likes to go to, I'm told, Vidyarthi Bhavan. He's the one who told me that the coffee there is better than anywhere else in Bengaluru. But look,
Rajdeep, are you picking sides?
Yeah, no, I'm not picking sides. Let's be honest. I actually think I've been listening to you all, and my sense is that sometimes not taking a decision is a decision. And that's been an old formula, especially of the Congress party. Narasimha Rao evolved it into a
come on, sir. No.
No, in the sense that, look, you've got an assembly session coming up in just about 12 days. 8th of December, you have the assembly session in Belgaum. We can discuss whether Belgaum should have remained part of Karnataka or come to Maharashtra on another day. But you have an assembly session in a very impressive surrounding there. But the truth of the matter is, I don't think the Congress High Command is in any position after its defeat in Bihar to take a major decision like a leadership change in Karnataka right away. So the sense that I am picking up from speaking to people that any decision that will be taken will probably have to wait till after Sankranti, Uttarayan, possibly even the budget will be delivered by Mr. Siddaramaiah. He wants to break Devraj Arz's record for being the longest serving Chief Minister of Karnataka. That will happen on January 7th. So any time post-February, and remember there are elections in March, April in states like Kerala. So Siddaramaiah is looking to buy time. He wants to effect a cabinet reshuffle. He's ready to do that. Sure. Shivakumar wants to strike now. I think Shivakumar wants that assurance that he claims was made secretly to be made public in some form so that he is assured that he will take over as Chief Minister of Karnataka. And if neither of them agree with each other, as has often happened, you might see a third candidate spring up, although it's very unlikely.
There are
Preeti,
3, 4, 5, Rajdeep.
Preeti, this is exactly what transpired in Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh, right? By not taking decision, the Congress party lost the government there. Why are they not doing the same thing here? They have to take a decision is what the MLAs are saying, because Karnataka too is going the Rajasthan way, is what their own MLAs felt.
You know, Naga, you couldn't be further away from the truth. And I totally disagree with Rajdeep when he says that not taking a decision is a decision. But Rajdeep, you and I both, if you remember that late night in Rajasthan, where I was, in Jaipur, you were on the phone line with me and we anchored for 3 hours, where Mr. Khadge came, where there was, all the MLAs were to gather at the residence of the then Chief Minister, Ashok Gehlot. The transfer of power was supposed to happen. And Mr. Khadge went and came there and sat and he said, where are the MLAs? And there were no MLAs because there was a coup, which was being engineered at the back in favor of keeping the power with Ashok Gehlot. But Naga, I'll just, I've been speaking to some of the Congress leaders. One of them has actually spoken on record with me, Digvijay Singh, where he says, I don't understand why there's too much democracy in the Congress. And that is something, Rajdeep, which a lot of Congress, senior Congress leaders also echo, where they say, what is this 2.5 year business? Why so much democracy? Whoever the MLAs support, the large chunk of the MLAs should be the one who actually keeps the power, and you keep your flock in check. But Naga and, Akshita,
but that's very idealistic.
Which is
of course, it won't work on paper.
Idealistic, but the larger malaise echoes in the ranks of the Congress today as well, which, whether we like it or not, these are all classic signs of a very weak high command. If the high command had cracked the whip right now, everything would have been ship-shape. Sadly, it is not. And one of the main reasons is because the high command really has nothing to offer. You take out Siddaramaiah, what do you give Siddaramaiah? You take out an Ashok Gehlot.
No, they should have ideally nipped it in the bud. They should have nipped this in the bud. But I'll also bring in Maria on this. Maria, Rajdeep makes a mention of Bihar. And says after Bihar, the high command maybe is not willing to take a decision. I'll flip that around and say, look, after what's happened in Bihar, surely the high command should say, we can't allow this to happen anywhere else. We have a few states in our kitty. Let's control and handle that the best we can.
Yes, absolutely. Look, Akshita, the way I see this is that this is a case of political credibility of the Congress High Command, not as much as personal ambition of DK Shivakumar. They have to, value their own word. If the word has been given, if there was the secret deal, which was no longer secret, if the netas have acknowledged it in the public space, it's very clear that DK Shivakumar was given this assurance that after 2.5 years, he will be getting the Chief Minister's chair. If that is the case, then it is for the Congress High Command to walk the talk. They have to build that trust between the party cadres and themselves. That it is the trust which is at stake here. They cannot prolong this decision anymore. One failure
who is the High
after
Command? Maria, who is the High Command in the Congress? I found it intriguing that someone asked a question to Mallikarjun Kharge when he was in Bengaluru. And he said, the High Command will decide. But for God's sake, you're the Congress president.
Yes.
Surely you are, and you're from Karnataka, you know the state inside out. And you're saying party High Command.
BJP trolled him too.
Told, and the same way, Sonia Gandhi is semi-retired. You ask her questions on what's happening within the Congress, she'll say, I'm not involved in the daily activities of the Congress at all. Rahul Gandhi, apparently, when Congress leaders go and tell him that,
Rajdeep, you're answering your own question, that it's only Rahul then.
No. So when this question is asked to Rahul Gandhi, apparently Rahul Gandhi says, on these issues, please go and meet Mallikarjun Kharge or KC Venugopal. So you see, you're playing passing the buck or passing the pillow. So it's all very well. You see, the high command, there is only one high command in this country at the moment, and it's not in the Congress, it's in the BJP. Just a month ago, in October, what happened? The entire Gujarat cabinet overnight, all asked to resign, and next morning, people 20, 30 years junior than the existing ministers were made ministers overnight. Did anyone say a squeak? Did we see any Gujarat? Did we see anyone give a bite to any channel saying?
But that's the way the BJP has been a very weak high command today.
So therefore, because you're a weak high command, you are stuck because Siddaramaiah is a strong mass leader and you've got Shivakumar, who's a very strong, redoubtable organizer and also a key resource man for you. That's why I don't liken it to Rajasthan. Rajasthan, Ashok Gehlot versus Sachin Pilot, according to me, both in terms of MLAs and in terms of your ability to sort of build, be a very valuable asset to the
Preeti, this is just
There was
not
a huge
about politics, right?
Same thing
It
in
is also
Chhattisgarh.
about
Here you've got
about
two
the
leaders
administration.
who have got
the chief
here
minister
you've got
himself
two leaders-
feels.
Here you've got two leaders virtually who have different qualities that they bring to the table.
Yes.
You sack Siddaramaiah or you ask him to go, he will go possibly if you are able to provide him some kind of a graceful exit. He's
But
not
there
going
isn't any-
Otherwise. He's a mass leader, he's an OBC leader.
Okay, so
the
can I
Ahinda
ask you
combination
then-
is what brought Karnataka to the Congress. Shivakumar is your organizer, he's resourceful, and from what I gather, and Nagarjun can confirm this, the number of MLAs now supporting him have increased.
But Rajdeep, the fact is, we're talking about the High Command and Naga.
That's
it is-
absolutely
Okay,
true.
can I just ask everyone, just a second,
Sorry.
please. Just hold on. I'll come back to you, Preeti. Just give us a second, because I also want to take a look. And before, we get everyone back teleported here to the Vidhan Sauda, we'll just take a look at what's happening in both camps here. There are two camps that have been set up. A DK Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah camp. Many would argue a whole lot of other factions also that have come up. How do the numbers actually stack up? Because one of the big deciding factors is who has how many. We break that down in our next report.
It is an all-out war in Karnataka Congress. The gloves are off and the daggers are drawn. DK Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah are playing increasingly bitter Game of Thrones. Both camps have dug in heels and refused to retreat. DK Shivakumar, in a direct warning, reminded the High Command about the pledge for rotational Chief Minister formula by stressing on keeping one's word. However, later DK Shivakumar disowned his viral word power and world power analogy.
ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಪವರ್ ಇಸ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಪವರ್ ಅಂತ ಈಗೇನೊಂದು ಮಾತು ಕೊಡ್ತೇವೆ, ಮಾತು ಉಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಮಾತು ಹಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಅದೇ ವಿಶ್ವದಲ್ಲೇ ಒಂದು ಪವರ್ ಅದು. ಒಬ್ಬ ಜಡ್ಜಿ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿ, ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿ, ನಾನು ಕೊಡ್ಲಿ, ನೀವು ಕೊಡ್ಲಿ, ಮನೇಲಿ ಮಾತಾಗ್ಲಿ, that is the biggest power. I have not posted anything. ಒಟ್ಟು ಮಾತು ವಿಚಾರ ಯಾವುದು ನಾನು ಮಾತಾಡಕ್ ಹೋಗಿಲ್ಲ. I have not posted anything.
Meanwhile, Congress Chief Kharge has summoned top Karnataka Congress leadership to Delhi to defuse the situation.
मैं इन सबको बुला के चर्चा करता हूं, तो इन सबको बुला के चर्चा करने के बाद निर्णय होगा.
However, both Deputy Chief Minister and Siddaramaiah maintain that they have not received any invitation.
I myself and CM, we both will discuss and we'll go. If they have called, they will go. High Command has not called me. If they call me, I will definitely go to the Delhi.
Amid the power tussle in the state, Chief Minister Siddaramaiah camp has stressed that the sitting Chief Minister is not going anywhere.
अभी वो कुर्सी में सिद्धरामैया साहब मुख्यमंत्री होके बैठे हैं, 28 तक वही रहेंगे. अगर उनको चेंज करना तो आप नहीं कर सकते, हम नहीं कर सकते, हाई कमांड करना.
Karnataka Home Minister G. Parmeshwara too has thrown his hat in the ring.
Having put in nearly 40 years of my political life, obviously you will consider, you will become...
They say that in this situation, anything. Why are they so worried? Because they say they cannot address the public issue if the issue is not resolved.
Who is addressing? We are here to address public issues, not them.
Sir,
We are the elected government. We are the elected party.
but being opposition, they say they have responsibility also.
Let them raise relevant issues. We will answer.
So will this issue be resolved in Delhi, sir? Both of...
There are no issues only to resolve. ಹೌದ್ರಿ, ಎಲ್ಲ ನನ್ನಿಂದನೇ ಅನ್ಯಾಯ ಆಗೋದು, ಬಿಜೆಪಿಗೂ ನನ್ನಿಂದನೇ ಅನ್ಯಾಯ ಆಗೋದು. ಸರ್
Actions that are coming in, which we will continue to track. Look, there are a whole lot of reactions from every faction, perhaps, of the Congress right now, if I can call them that. And each of them says only one thing: High Command will decide. High time, perhaps the High Command decides, but so far there seems to be no indication of that happening right now. But getting back into the discussion with Preeti, Rajdeep and Maria, who joined us here, teleported from our Noida studio right here to the Vidhan Sauda. Preeti, you were making a point really about how the High Command really needs to step in. This is a very different situation from what we saw in Rajasthan. DK Shivakumar is not going to cow down. He's going to make it very clear that he needs his slice of the power pie. So accommodation here perhaps is the biggest challenge for the High Command, whichever way they go.
You know, Akshata, where you say it's a very different situation, I actually feel that in the Congress, the more things change, the more they remain the same. I don't see it much difference in terms of how the High Command has failed to exercise their writ and crack the whip. And I'll give you many examples. You know, we are talking about just the case of Rajasthan. Yes, Rajasthan is a case. So is Punjab. There was the Congress had a clear shot at Punjab, but of the infighting. At that point of time, you had a Priyanka Gandhi who was part of that proverbial High Command that stood by Sidhu. See where Sidhu is today and look where Amrinder Singh is today. So, you know, that has been an issue. The same problem pulled out in Chhattisgarh. Of course, the dynamics were very different then. Look at what happened in Madhya Pradesh, where an entire government fell at the back of it. So all of this has happened because the High Command hasn't cracked the whip. Now, the High Command is weak. One of the main reasons it is weak is it has nothing really to offer. How do you give? Rajdeep is right with the point that I had made right in the beginning, Naga and Akshata. How do you give Siddaramaiah an honorable exit? Where do you accommodate the likes of Ashok Gehlot? What do you do with the likes of Kamal Nath? What do you do with the likes of Amrinder Singh? Where you don't have anything to give them, then these power struggles, especially when you have two very strong leaders in a state like Karnataka, will ensue, which will once again test the High Command.
That's right, Maria.
Yeah, Naga.
Maria, when Congress was dealing with Rajasthan, they were dealing with a person called Sachin Pilot and T.S. Singh Dio in Chhattisgarh. Make no mistake, DK Shivakumar is no Sachin Pilot or no T.S. Singh Dio. When it comes to other state leaders, he's always ensured that the Congress party gets victory by supporting the Madhya Pradesh.
Beyond Karnataka.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, DK Shivakumar 100% will do something more than expected to ensure that he becomes the chief minister. It's now or never for him.
Look, as I've been saying, he is the key troubleshooter of the Congress party. Right now, he travels to multiple states to ensure that the Congress House is in order. There have been multiple crises. He's the crisis manager as well and has delivered for the Congress leadership. This is the right time for the Congress leadership to actually value their own words. If they have made a promise to a leader, that word should be kept, is the sense that I certainly have. I've been speaking to leaders on both the sides. The fact is that the Congress has a full control over its government. This will be the right time to usher in that change, where it can be about governance, that 50% of the work has been done. It's need for a generational change. Because when the Congress made that promise 2.5 years ago, I'm sure they would have done some calculation. It cannot be just to keep a leader's ambition on hold. That's why I'm maintaining that this is not about personal ambition of DK Shivakumar. This is about the credibility of the Congress High Command.
You need a DK Shivakumar to manage the DK Shivakumar crisis in Karnataka.
Look at how things have changed. And take Karnataka.
No, I agree. But to me, Rajdeep, the 2.5-year formula, to me, actually was to kind of control the situation then. Was to ensure things don't go out of hand. To me, that's what it was. It was firefighting at that point, thinking we'll deal with it later.
Absolutely. But look at how things have changed. Through the 1980s, in a state like Karnataka, the Congress committed one self-goal after the other harakiri, but based on arbitrary decisions taken by the High Command. Devraj Ars, arguably the first major mass leader from the backward caste community who had emerged in the 1970s as the #1 Neta of Karnataka, tangled with Sanjay Gandhi, eventually had to find his way out. The Congress lost the 1983 election, and for the first time you had a real non-Congress government in Karnataka with Ramakrishna Hegde becoming. Virendra Patil, 1989, came to power with a huge majority, 170, topmost Lingayat leader of the time. What happens? Few months later, Rajiv Gandhi publicly announces at the HAL headquarters that Virendra Patil is out. He's replaced by a number of leaders. There is Bangarappa comes in for a while. there are other leaders who get their place in the sun. What happens? The next election, the Congress again gets dismantled. So the Congress has had a history in states like Karnataka of taking arbitrary decisions, but they could get away to some extent with it because the Congress was the #1 national party. Today the Congress is struggling for relevance at the center. In such a moment, the last thing the Congress can do is in the one state which is seen to be the, some call it the ATM of the Congress, the other call it the last bastion of the Congress. You can't take a risk.
Chief Minister Siddaramaiah time and again has been making statements that he will retire at 2028 and this is his last stint from electoral politics. So how can the captain of the ship himself retire going into a big final?
Look at me, my friend Nagarjun. After every election, I say I'm retiring. I don't retire. Why should Siddaramaiah retire? Nobody retires, boss.
Yes. Sir, 2028 election on my plate in Karnataka. Sir,
I will.
Rajdeep, promise the audience right now. 2028 election on my plate.
Come on, Rajdeep.
In Vidyarthi Bhavan, we will eat together, shooting the election on my plate.
No, there was a time when Siddaramaiah apparently famously, Shivakumar, when he became the Karnataka Congress president, there was a lot of opposition initially to him. And Siddaramaiah had quietly stoked that opposition. And Shivakumar told someone who met him, you see, my problem is I was trying to play chess while Siddaramaiah was playing football. You see, that's the problem with some of these leaders. Siddaramaiah, old-style politician. He will patiently play the game and strike just when if you give him 3 months, 3 months can easily become 3 years. That's why you're right. Shivakumar knows now or never.
No, yes.
If he has to strike, he has to strike within these 6 months and get at least 2 years in the Chief Minister's chair. If he prolongs this, and I think it will not get settled till March at least, that's my sense.
I agree.
I think you will have a situation possibly where Shivakumar will be assured again.
And also,
we will make the change in March.
Also, Akshita, then you are laying down precedents. By doing this, then you are laying down precedents that a generational shift is in order. Then there is an election in Rajasthan. Then you make clear that Sachin Pilot will be your face. Then you'll have to make very tough decisions if you make this decision.
What happens to your OBC plank? Rahul Gandhi has been going around the country saying we want more OBC leaders and you're going to remove your one OBC mass leader. So it's a tough situation. Let's be honest. Let's be fair for once to the Congress High Command. It's not an easy decision to take. Narendra Modi has the political equity to do what he wants in a state like Gujarat. Amit Shah can impose a Mohan Yadav somewhere. You can have a Bhajan Lal Sharma. The BJP, the Congress can't do that.
But there's a difference, Rajdeep, because in BJP, it is Prime Minister Modi who's also winning states for the party.
Sure, exactly.
That is the reason why they can decide the Chief Minister after elections.
That's why, Maria, you could have an Indira Gandhi do exactly what she wanted in the 1970s. There's a famous story. Baba Sahib Bhosle was made the Chief Minister of Maharashtra overnight, plucked out of... One of the editors at the time told me our biggest challenge was, and this is before Google came in, how do we do a profile of Baba Sahib Bhosle because we didn't have anything about him. All we knew is that he's a barrister and he's been elected once or twice he'd been elected, but that's not enough to run a full profile. Suddenly, late in the night, Indira Gandhi decides to pluck Baba Sahib Bhosle out of nowhere. So that's happened in the Congress.
Look at the fate of Karnataka.
You're saying, Rajdeep, that the Congress High Command doesn't have it easy. I agree with you that this is a very difficult situation, but they've put themselves in it. They've dug this hole, Rajdeep. They've put themselves in the situation where they're having to take a pick. And you didn't nip it in the bud, you allowed it to drag on.
That's because, Akshita, there is this ridiculous concept of 2.5 years secret deal. Politics mein kuch secret nahi hota hai. Agar bolna hai to...
Who introduced it? It was the High Command.
Apparently they shook hands on it.
This word High Command should go.
That created that situation.
There is neither High nor Command left.
Which most leaders do, but Akshita flip it.
It's the word of the day in Karnataka, the High Command.
Flip the argument, Akshita. What DK Shivakumar went to jail, he refused to, skip over to the BJP. There is some amount of truck and some amount of respect that you now need to give back in honor. He's stuck by you in the worst of your times. He's gone across the country, sorting out each and every issue that you have had politically. So, you flip the argument, then it's time to give him his due.
And Sonia Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, I don't know how much influence Priyanka Gandhi Vadra has, but I do know for a fact that Sonia Gandhi apparently was among those who assured him this. I'll tell you what happened. The chronology was,
I agree, because they're stuck between a rock and a hard place.
I'll tell you what happened in May 2023. He went to the meeting at Sonia Gandhi's house, apparently got an assurance, was told to go to Mallikarjun Kharge's house. At that meeting, there was Mallikarjun Kharge, K.C. Venugopal, Randeep Surjewala, Siddaramaiah was brought in later, and in front of all of them, apparently, Shivakumar was told, we are committing to you 2.5 years after Siddaramaiah has completed 2.5 years, you will be made chief minister. Now, all of this was in closed door. This is the secret deal.
Like Sachin Pilot.
Yeah, but you see, with Mr. Pilot, I don't know who the third person was because it was apparently told through Rahul Gandhi. Here, there were 4 others, one of whom is the Congress president, the other is the General Secretary in charge of Karnataka, and the third is your Congress
Then these
Secretary
6 people or the 4 people, Rajdeep, will have to get into a huddle now to sort out the issue. What is stopping the High Command to get these 4 people in the same room?
Whatever you asked me, I've done. Now is my time to get rewarded.
Naga.
So the question that then comes up also is, was Siddaramaiah informed of the 2.5-year decision?
No, of course.
At that point.
He was there at the
if you speak to DK Shivakumar camp, they are very clear that it was the 4 top leaders of the High Command with the Chief Minister in place. Both of them shook hands on it and they agreed to a verbal deal that after 2.5
so now
years...
is he claiming he didn't know about it?
Well, Siddaramaiah has not spoken about it on record. But if you speak to DK Shivakumar over a cup of chai or his camp MLAs, they clearly say that they shook hands over it in a certain place, in a private someone's residence in Delhi, with the appearance of all these High Command leaders, the in charge of all the states where they're present. And they were the ones who brought them to the table to discuss. Yes, Preeti?
Maria.
It's one thing is clear that this is a situation that they could have avoided. And it's not good news for the Congress party. Everything
how do you avoid it, Maria?
Everything is
how
playing
do you avoid
out.
it? Okay. Tell me, how do you avoid it?
Okay, Rajdeep, it's 2.5 years, which was agreed upon. It's not a secret deal. It can be a government in continuity. It's not like there is another leader that is coming in. The Congress can have its way and also value what they have told cadres. I mean, the cadre and the leadership are having a credibility crisis and the trust issue. My point here is that this is a government that they need. Absolutely. They have to, going into the elections, next year in particular, 5 states go to polls. In Assam, they are in the reckoning. Then you have a chance also in the state of Kerala. Is this the message that they want to give?
It's a suicide mission. Right now, where you're headed is a suicide mission.
But Rajdeep, look at the fate of Karnataka, Rajdeep. With 140 MLAs also, the same drama unfolds. Earlier, BJP, Yediyurappa was made to resign, and then came Bommai. Earlier, in the previous tenure of BJP, we had Jagdish Shettar, Sadananda Gowda, then Yediyurappa. Before that was J.H. Patel and Deve Gowda. The jinx that continues, even with number of MLAs increasing. It's unbelievable that with 140 MLAs also, a party can have a downside to this extent where the administration has taken a back seat.
You know, that's the interesting point. While, of course, all our focus is on the Congress, the fact is the BJP is in no great shape in Karnataka either. That's the truth of the matter. It's one of those states at the moment where both these national parties are facing crises over leadership, over the various groups, and caste. The caste alignments in Karnataka are also so sharp that the politics also gets organized around that. So many of these leaders not just come with their own weight, they come with the weight of their caste and community. Which other states would you have so many seers, sadhus? Yesterday or this morning there was a Vocaliga seer, I think, who said DK should be made chief minister. He has God's blessings. Now, you know, that's not going to happen in too many other states. It's your state. That's why, you know, that's why I like Karnataka. It's all out in the open. वो पर्दे के पीछे कुछ नहीं होता है कर्नाटका में. You want to become chief minister, you say it openly, you get your seers out there, your sons out there. It's a state where I believe politics is seen as a means to an end. It's not an end in itself, so therefore you want power, which will then give you the opportunity to distribute the loaves and fishes of office. And that's been going on for years. You're a state which has had, I think, the only chief ministers who completed full 5 years, correct me if I'm wrong, one was Devraj Ars in the 1970 and one was Siddaramaiah himself, 2013 to 18. Even S.M. Krishna, I think...
That's absolutely right. S.M. Krishna had to dissolve his government much before the 5-year tenure.
Yeah. That's right. So that's, you know, there aren't too many states in the country where you will see that.
Okay, so we've discussed what's happened so far and maybe how this could have been prevented, this kind of a situation. I'll come back to you, Rajdeep, on what next now. Let's say there's a possibility that the High Command gets back to DK Shivakumar saying, look, okay, we're willing to make you the chief minister, but only after Siddaramaiah is allowed to present the budget in a few months from now to mark that historic record for him as well. Do you see that as the most likely possibility of whatever the High Command decides?
Yes, I think so. I think that they will buy these 3 months. Whether that will be March or whether that will be May. Remember, it could also be after the assembly elections are over, depending on how they perform. For Siddaramaiah, that will give him some breathing space to organize himself. And I think for DK Shivakumar, if that assurance comes from Rahul Gandhi himself, I think he will go along with it. It will also give the Congress an opportunity to dial down on this daily Game of Thrones that's going on. So I do see that the most likely the most likely scenario, because I don't see this High Command being in any position to take a decision like instant coffee.
But the counter question, Rajdeep, is let's assume also that the High Command decides to change the Chief Minister. Without a ceremonious exit, there will be a backlash for Siddaramaiah camp members as well. How will you accommodate Siddaramaiah? He can't be accommodated in Delhi politics.
So that's it then?
Yeah.
Is it as simple as that? Siddaramaiah cannot be accommodated anywhere else?
That's the real challenge. You see, that's the difference between also what could happen 30 years ago when the Congress was in power at the center now. How do you accommodate someone like Siddaramaiah? But my sense is they will try and create some kind of a graceful exit if they have to for Siddaramaiah. It will not happen overnight. It will take some time. But I do think that you are going to see a generational change this time in Karnataka. And Preeti is right. It could then result in a generational change in a few other states as well. Their bigger problem is to ensure that Ahinda vote. You know, one of Siddaramaiah's supporters sent me a very interesting data point. A majority of the seats where Kurubas are more than 8% and more, they are about 8%, but that made a big difference to the Congress's fortunes. Congress cannot afford to vacate that space. One formula which is being discussed, I'm told, Shivakumar as Chief Minister, Jarkhioli as Karnataka Congress President. Don't forget his role. Satish Jarkhioli will have some role to play. Priyank Kharge as a Deputy Chief Minister. So Mallikarjun Kharge is also a piece.
Eternal dream to
and you may have MB Patil as a Lingayat face. But how do you accommodate the Ahindas? I'm not sure. But you will have to give Siddaramaiah some kind of space.
Do you buy this? Do you buy this? Because it seems...
Rajdeep, this looks like a very idealistic la-la land for the Congress party. What about the rest of the communities? You also have to accommodate some from the OBC because Congress...
It's a long list.
Long list, absolutely. Then you have four deputies from the Chief Minister.
Just come in that it's already, you know, it's a tight spot for the proverbial high command of the Congress. It's not that it hasn't started to bring in that generational shift. I'll give you one state and as an example. In the state of Madhya Pradesh, slowly but surely the Congress High Command is now changing the seat of power or whatever, you know, their position where the Congress is concerned. You have a Jitu Patwari. Now who's in charge? The likes of Kamal Nath, the likes of Digvijay Singh have been put away by the wayside. And it's come internally with a lot of pushback even in Madhya Pradesh. So you've got to do it. You have to do it tactfully. You have to find the right time to do it because you really have nothing else to, you know, give these leaders who you're going to take away power from. So it's a, you know, it's a tightrope walk for them. But it's not that it's not happening. It is happening.
Akshita, unlike Madhya Pradesh, where Kamal Nath wasn't really a mass leader, in Karnataka, you have Siddaramaiah, barring some parts of coastal Karnataka, having a pan-Karnataka acceptability.
Exactly.
So in Karnataka, Siddaramaiah will decide the generational change, is my sense. He has to be on board with the High Command
and also he remains to be one of the oldest and the last leg of the socialist politicians of Karnataka, right?
The ideological shift also is not just generational shift, but also ideological. You have an Ashok Gehlot who is a mass leader in Rajasthan. You have who's put his weight behind Dotasra. You have all those equations also to sort out.
Yeah. Just hold on, Preeti. I'm getting a news break also coming in right now. We're going to continue this conversation, but just to continue updating our viewers of what's happening here in Karnataka as well, I just want to run you through the latest attack that's come in from the BJP. The BJP, of course, is going to town with all that's happening right now in the Karnataka Congress. They've said that the Congress has failed Karnataka. According to the BJP, because of this CM fight, there's zero governance. Administration has taken a back seat and all of development, essentially, there's a full stop to. This is the BJP's reaction right now. They're demanding that the Congress government in Karnataka be dissolved. Maria, you spoke to the Karnataka BJP chief, B.Y. Vijendra, on this, and he did suggest that they're considering passing a no-confidence motion as well.
So they may bring that up in the upcoming session. That is going to be a huge challenge. They know the numbers are not stacked in favor of any no confidence, but it will be more of a political messaging. As the Karnataka BJP chief was telling us, Akshita, some time back, that the messaging is about how the governance has collapsed with the leadership of the Congress party, with the, those who are supposed to be governing the state of Karnataka, traveling almost every week, spending 4 days a week in Delhi to, sort out the differences that they have internally. So I think BJP, of course, fishing in troubled waters, and that's what opposition usually does, and that's what they are doing. But the sense certainly is that there will be talks, that they will be going in for a huddle and deciding what they should be doing in the upcoming session.
Okay, Naga, what do you think? Is all of this translating to advantage BJP?
Well, the no confidence motion is optics, but definitely this scenario right now in the Congress party has given a chance for the BJP party to unite. BJP was a broken house in Karnataka. With this present crisis, we have seen Vijendra reach out to Mr. Bommai's residents, Ashok's residents, in Udupi, Sunil Kumar's residents. They seem to be telling the party that the leaders are coming together to ensure that this crisis can be taken to the full advantage of the party. Till now, in the last 2 years, it's an open secret that the BJP was a broken house in Karnataka. Yeah. No senior leaders were looking into each other's eye. But in the last 15 days, some reignition has happened. The party is coming back together, and thanks to DK Shivakumar versus Siddaramaiah, the game that is happening.
It's been a unifying factor.
Yeah, it's definitely a unifying factor. And recently, and coincidentally, Vijendra met Amit Shah in Delhi, Prahlad Joshi in Delhi, Kumaraswamy in Delhi, Bommai in Bengaluru. There seems to be a message within the BJP also that let's come together. As of now, we have made an image dent of the Congress. It's time to make a vote dent as well. Okay. So take back the votes from the Congress.
So before I bring in Preeti and Maria for final comments, I just want to cut across to another news break coming in. This is a reaction from Siddaramaiah. Naga, you can help us translate this. Because Siddaramaiah was asked about what's happening. This is right after the cabinet meet came to an end. We'll just play out that sequence for our viewers of exactly what happened. Of course, he was asked about whether he's going to continue as the chief minister. He seems quite upset over the question being asked him over and over again. Let's play that out.
ಮಲ್ಲಿಕಾರ್ಜುನ್ ಖರ್ಗೆ ಅವರು ದೆಹಲಿ ಕರೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್. ಮಲ್ಲಿಕಾರ್ಜುನ್ ಖರ್ಗೆ ಅವರು ದೆಹಲಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಲ್ರಿ. ಹಾಂ ಸರ್, ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ ಸರ್. ಕೇಳಿದ್ವಿ ಸರ್, ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ ಸರ್? ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡ್ ಕರೆದ್ರೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೇನೆ. ಒಬ್ಬೊಬ್ಬರೇ ಹೇಳೋಣ, ಜನರಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಹೇಳಿ. ಮಲ್ಲಿಕಾರ್ಜುನ್ ಖರ್ಗೆ ಅವರು ದೆಹಲಿ ಕರೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್. ಮಲ್ಲಿಕಾರ್ಜುನ್ ಖರ್ಗೆ ಅವರು ದೆಹಲಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಲ್ರಿ. ಹಾಂ ಸರ್, ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ ಸರ್. ಕೇಳಿದ್ವಿ ಸರ್, ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ ಸರ್? ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡ್ ಕರೆದ್ರೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೇನೆ. ಒಬ್ಬೊಬ್ಬರೇ ಹೇಳೋಣ.
Okay, so very clearly right now, both Siddaramaiah, and this is what I can take away from that conversation, Siddaramaiah, DK Shivakumar, both making it clear we haven't received any summon from the High Command. And what that essentially translates to is that the High Command is in no tearing hurry whatsoever to address this. They're not hitting the panic button. They don't see the SOS situation here in Karnataka for them to immediately step in. They're going to take their own sweet time with it until then whatever happens. That seems to be right now the decision that the High Command has taken, to just wait and watch. Before, we let Preeti and Maria go. Preeti, I want to understand from you, your sense, considering the other states that you were referring to, what do you think the Congress High Command should ideally do here? Who do you think they should pick, DK Shivakumar or Siddaramaiah?
The fact is, Akshita, that the Congress needs a generational change. Nobody is denying it. You can see it. It needs to happen. But how does it happen? How does the Congress effect that change? That is the big question. They haven't been able to do it, without rancor in places like Rajasthan. We've seen, what has happened in other states. We've seen what happened in Punjab. So you've got to do it, in a way that you have a Siddaramaiah who exits feeling that he's been given his due, and you have DK Shivakumar, who finally is acknowledged as his time has come. It's a tightrope walk, and I'll come back to that moot point. You know, when you're in power, you have enough places to accommodate your top leadership in. When you're not in power, you have very little. So what do you do with the likes of your tallest leaders? How do you accommodate them? That is the big question. And once again, it does show on the efficacy of the High Command. The proverbial High Command of the Congress right now is at one of its weakest moments. And that you can see, because promises that have been made, not delivered. You know, you try and approach a Rahul Gandhi, you don't hear back from a Rahul Gandhi, you go back to a Sonia Gandhi who puts her hands up. So you can see all of these issues percolating on ground. But I do see that the change will be effected, maybe not now, but in time.
Okay, and Maria, what do you think? What do you think? Should they make change? Should they stick to constant? Should there be winds of change in Karnataka?
Yes, they have to bring in change if they want DK Shivakumar to stay in the Congress fold. Look, he is the troubleshooter, but he can also be a troublemaker if the situation goes against him. He has been promised, he has been waiting patiently, and his time has come. And if it doesn't happen now, and we know that leaders don't give up power. We have seen what happened in the state of Bihar. 5 years ago, Akshita, Nitish Kumar on a public platform had said that this was his last election. That was 2020. 5 years later, he's back on the CM's chair. So this is what politics is. Politicians don't retire.
Politicians
that's
don't
absolutely
retire.
true. I think, but I think I agree with Mario.
Who do you think they should pick?
I'm not going to pick an option because I have to.
What should the High Command do? Come on.
That's left to them. I have to meet DK Shivakumar for breakfast, Siddaramaiah for lunch, and Devegowda for dinner. So I'm not going to pick
whatever
who's
the
going
High
to be the next
Command
chief
decides,
minister of Karnataka.
Naga,
But all I can say is the High Command.
Your answer should be the same as DK and Siddaramaiah.
I'm also waiting for the message from Delhi to tell who is going to be the chief minister.
I'm absolutely fed up of hearing every reaction from every leader.
There will be three people coming to Delhi. Three people coming to Delhi. Siddaramaiah, DK Shivakumar, Nagarjun Varkanath will be flying to Delhi very soon as we get the message from KC Venugopal and Rahul Gandhi's office.
We'd love to have you wear a jacket.
Well, in all realistic chances, I think. With all realistic scenarios, Akshita, most likely Rahul Gandhi is still tilted in favor of Siddaramaiah because he knows the ideological commitment of someone like Siddaramaiah. He's the last generational socialist leader that Karnataka has always seen. We don't have Yediyurappa, we don't have Devegowda in active electoral politics. So it is Siddaramaiah who has everything.
What about 2028?
That's true. That's the question, that will Siddaramaiah, like we mentioned, he might not retire, but he brings a solid vote bank with him. The Kruba, the minority, the Dalits. But I think there will be a shift, but not immediately.
Okay, not immediately, but there could be a shift if that happens in the next few months, maybe.
Well,
it could be post the budget to ensure that he gets that respectable farewell that he so deserves.
Yes.
And then in that case, he's got that vote bank secure.
He leaves behind the legacy of the longest serving chief minister of Karnataka since independence.
What date is that?
February 6, 2026. He surpasses Devrajars as the longest serving chief minister of Karnataka.
And that perhaps is the date that we could see. But does that mean then that in the next few days, we don't see any movement? DK Shivakumar, I'm sure, will also seek some sort of assurance of what's going to happen. But Preeti, Maria, it's been lovely having you with me here in the Vidhan Sauda. Not really. I wish you were here with me to enjoy the weather. But I think we'll make do with teleportation for now. Hopefully, we'll have you down to enjoy some good Bangalore dosa. Not as good as Tamil Nadu's, but good enough.
I disagree with that, but anyways.
Thank you so much.